Billionaire fired her for eating at work, then heard her heartbreaking call to her mom. $30,000 for honesty. How one janitor's integrity changed a company forever. The hum of fluorescent lights echoed through the empty corridors of the Anderson corporate tower. The late afternoon sun filtered through the tall glass windows, casting long shadows across the polished floors. Most people had already left for the day, but Ariana Clark, a young black woman in her mid-20s, was still working. Her mop squeaked against the tiles, the faint scent of lemon cleaner trailing behind her. She paused for a moment, glancing at the small sandwich she had tucked into her apron pocket. Hunger gnawed at her, but she didn't dare stop for long. Her thoughts were elsewhere. Her mother, lying sick at home, her medical bills piling higher than Ariana could manage on her modest paycheck. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out and read the message she had been anxiously waiting for. Her first paycheck. "Mama," she whispered softly, pressing the phone to her ear. "I just got my paycheck, $30,000. "Yes, $30,000. I'll send the money tonight." "Okay? Make sure you take your medicine. I love you." Her voice wavered, tears threatening to spill. She didn't notice the tall figure approaching behind her, his polished shoes clicking with each step. Mr. Leonard Grant, the chairman of the company, stopped abruptly a few feet away. "You said 30,000? His voice was cold, clipped, echoing down the quiet hallway. Ariana froze. Her sandwich slipped from her hand and fell to the floor with a soft thud. "Why, yes, sir," she stammered, her hands trembling. "Director Mason gave it to me." "That's far too much for your position. Return it immediately." His tone brooked no argument. Tears pooled in her eyes. "But, sir, my mother's medical bills." "Rules are rules." His voice cut her off like a knife. "Bring it to my office after your shift. Now get back to work." Ariana nodded silently, unable to speak. All she could do was whisper under her breath, "Yes, sir." The next morning, the office buzzed with whispers. Everyone seemed to know about Ariana's unexpected paycheck. She kept her head down, quietly sweeping the hallways and staircases, avoiding eye contact. Her uniform was spotless, but her pride felt battered and raw. When she entered the chairman's office, she placed the envelope carefully on his sleek mahogany desk. "Do you have it?" Leonard asked, his voice as sharp as ever. "Yes, sir," Ariana replied softly, her hand shaking as she let the envelope rest on the desk. He nodded once, his expression unreadable. "You did the right thing." A lump formed in her throat. "But what about Director Mason?" He was the one who gave me the money." "That is not your concern," Leonard replied curtly. "Now go." Ariana blinked back tears and left the office. Outside the glass door, Director Mason, a man in his mid-30s with gentle eyes and a quiet demeanor, waited. "You returned it?" he asked softly. "Yes," Ariana said, looking down. Mason let out a deep sigh. "Sometimes doing the right thing gets punished first. Don't lose faith." Ariana managed a small nod, but felt little faith left in her heart as she returned to her mop and bucket. That night, in her small apartment, she texted her mother, "I tried my best." The following day, Leonard summoned Mason to his office. The chairman's voice was sharp, almost as cold as steel. "How long have you been with this company?" he asked. "For years and 3 months, sir," Mason replied, straightening in his chair. "And you know very well what a janitor's salary is, correct?" "Yes, sir." "So why did you give her $30,000? Mason swallowed hard, his gaze falling to the floor. "Yesterday, I overheard her cry on the phone. She said her mother needed $20,000 for therapy. I couldn't just ignore that. It was her mother's life. The extra money came from my own paycheck, sir." Leonard's expression didn't change. "You should have come to me first. That violates policy. You are suspended for 1 month." Mason nodded quietly. "Understood, sir." What Leonard and Mason didn't realize was that Ariana had been standing outside the office, listening. Her eyes filled with tears once again, but this time they were not from guilt. They were tears of gratitude and admiration. She couldn't stay silent any longer. She pushed open the door and stepped inside. "Sir, please don't suspend him," Ariana cried, her voice trembling. Leonard arched a brow. And why not? Because he did it for me. He used his own money just to help my mother. Please don't punish him for doing the right thing. I shouldn't have accepted it. For a long moment, the room was silent. Leonard's gaze softened as he looked at her. Her exhaustion, her sincerity, her pain. He could see it all in her eyes. You entered without knocking, he said slowly, though the tone in his voice had softened. I'm sorry, sir, Ariana whispered. I just couldn't watch him suffer for my mistake. Even Mason looked at her in disbelief. Rarely did he see such honesty in a world where everyone was fighting for themselves. Leonard finally leaned back in his chair and said, Mason, I have something to tell you. Mason blinked, confused. You are now the vice president of the personnel department, Leonard continued. Ariana gasped. Sir, what? Yes, Leonard said. You have proven something no policy can teach. You acted with compassion, not for reward, but because it was right. Mason blinked, overwhelmed. Thank you, sir. I don't know what to say. Then just keep leading with that same heart, Leonard replied. He turned to Ariana. And as for you, young lady, don't ever be ashamed of needing help. I admire your honesty. He opened a drawer and took out the very same envelope Ariana had returned. Take this, he said, handing it to her. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Sir, this is... Yes, Leonard said. It's the same amount. You've earned it. From now on, your salary will be $30,000 permanently. Ariana covered her mouth, tears streaming freely. Sir, thank you. I don't know how to... Leonard smiled gently. Don't thank me. Thank your own hard work and Mason's compassion. This company should feel like family. For the first time, the cold, polished office felt human. It felt warm. Real. Word spread quickly throughout the company. Ariana, the janitor whose honesty had changed everything, was now seen not as a help, but as a valued member of the team. Mason, the director who had risked his own career to help someone in need, was promoted for his kindness. Co-workers approached Ariana, offering smiles and congratulations. Some even apologized for how they had treated her in the past. During lunch, Mason stopped by her station. How's your mom doing? He asked, smiling softly. She's improving, Ariana replied, her eyes lighting up. She said to tell you thank you for saving her life. Mason chuckled. I just did what any decent person would do. Not everyone would, sir, Ariana said quietly. Their eyes met. Two people whose hearts had changed each other's worlds forever. A week later, the company held a small staff meeting. Leonard stood at the front of the room, his usually stern expression softened by the pride he felt. I want everyone here to remember something, he said. Rules matter, but humanity matters more. When you help someone, you build something stronger than profit. You build trust. He looked directly at Ariana. This young woman reminded us what family means. Even in business. Applause filled the room. Ariana smiled through tears, feeling seen for the first time not as a janitor, but as a person who mattered. Later, as she left for the day, Mason caught up with her. Your mom getting better? He asked again. Ariana nodded. Yes, sir. She's getting stronger every day. Thank you for everything. Mason smiled warmly. You're welcome, Ariana. Just keep leading with your heart. That's all anyone could ask for. And in that moment, amid the hum of office chatter and the echo of footsteps on polished floors, Ariana Clark felt something she had never truly felt before. That kindness, honesty, and compassion could change lives, even in a world that often forgot what humanity meant. From that day forward, she worked with pride, not just as a janitor, but as someone who had proven that integrity and heart could create miracles. Her mother recovered. Mason thrived in his new role, and Leonard's company became a place where rules were important, yes, but kindness reigned supreme. The story of Ariana Clark, the janitor who returned $30,000 out of honesty, spread far beyond the walls of the office. It reminded everyone that sometimes the smallest act of integrity could create the largest ripples of change.